Hey everyone, thank you so much for being on here tonight. It's a little bit different doing this on a Monday with a huge group of people from all over. If you don't know who I am, my name is Julianne, and Amanda and Teresa will introduce themselves as they speak on their takeaways from Rise. Rise is a conference that was put on by Rachel Hollis from Girl Wash Your Face. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay. If you have not bought this book, downloaded it, I would. It's amazing. So the author, Rachel Hollis, put this on with her team. And the really cool thing, I honestly had no idea what to expect. I had heard about it. I had connected with a friend on Instagram that I had met on Instagram. And she said, you need to get here. I was there last year. You need to get here. And it was stirring in my heart. The only thing, though, was it was Super Saturday, and I was hosting Super Saturday. And you know what warriors do? You know what women who are resourceful do? Do you know what women who are powerful do? They find another way. When there's an obstacle, they find the way or they make the way. So I called my good friend up and I said, listen, she said, you've got to go. And she hosted it without me. And we usually do it together. So I found a way. I don't like missing events with Beachbody, but I knew I had to go to this. And so it was a spur of the moment thing. Teresa, it was like a godsend. Teresa messages me. She says, we got to go. And I said, man, we've been talking about it. Let's just do it. Didn't even think about it. Same with Amanda. And honestly, I had no idea what to expect. It was incredible to be in an environment of, I had no idea I was around a ton of famous people. You know what I'm saying? We walked into this garden party and I was just doing my thing, eating a donut. Hey, 80-day obsession. You know what? When you are at Rachel Hollis's house and there's a donut wall, you eat the donut. You eat two, actually. And then you eat someone you don't know's donut, which I totally did. We shared it. It was cool. It was her publisher. I had no idea. Anyway, we shared a donut. And my point is, when we were in the garden party, I felt so good. I felt like I deserved to be there, not because I was the best or felt like I was better than anybody. It's just because I knew my worth is surrounding myself with incredible people. I didn't even know these people were actually doing crazy things, such as selling bestsellers and building empires. I had no idea. I just thought their outfits were cute. And so we were hanging out and it was quite cool doing that. And I'm going to talk to you about my top takeaways. But before I get into that, and I can't wait to hear from Teresa and Amanda, those two became my sisters this weekend. We had incredible moments that happened. And I just have to tell you, you need to pay attention to your conversations and the people you surround yourself with. Do they make you feel yucky or do they make you feel empowered? And that was a big thing for me this weekend, realizing that I really do surround myself with really good people who want the best for me and I want the best for them. That they can call me out of love because they want me to be better. They don't call me out because they want me to feel like crap. And vice versa, right? And it was really cool. And that was a big moment for me because even in the Beachbody world, I know people have thought my success is bullshit. And I know in this community, people haven't liked the way that I've led because they thought it was bullshit. And at the end of the day, I'm not here to convince anyone of my heart because I know in my heart of hearts what it is I'm doing and what my mission is. And I really encourage you, when you are surrounding yourself with people, how do you feel? When you're talking, what are your conversations of? The bullshit of other people's success or the empowerment of people's success? The inspiration of people's success? Or do you not like and you pick apart and you find fault in people who are just trying? I don't even know if this coach is on here, and I hope she is. There was a coach that hadn't liked the way that I led something, which is fine because I'm not here to gain the approval of everybody. In fact, I liked that she said that. I love having confrontation in a good way. I think it grows people. In your marriage, you should have confrontation, right? It grows your marriage. In friendship, you should have confrontation. It grows your relationships in life. And so she didn't quite like it, which is totally fine. And I was really impressed. And, I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to always lead like that or not. I can't promise you that, but I'm going to lead. I'm not going to stop leading based on the opinions of people, right? I'm just going to do it. That's what I've always done. And it's pissed people off because I just do it. That's my heart. And I said, so I can't promise you that I'm going to lead that way or not that way. But I encourage you, what's another solution for you? What's another way instead of being critical or not liking it and complaining about it? What's another solution? Could you go lead your other Zooms that are the style you like? And I hope so badly she did that. And I hope when she led that Zoom, it was full of integrity and grace and empowerment, and it moved people. I hope when she led those Zooms that the conversations were fully equipping other people to be their absolute best, because that's what I was doing on the Zoom I was leading. That's what you have to do, y'all. You just gotta go. And on my notebook here, it says someone else's opinion of you is none of your business. It's true. And as I share with you my best practices and what I learned I'm getting goosebumps, as I learned at Rise, was I'm not selling Shakeology in workouts. And we get so caught up in that, whether you say it or not, this is competitive because you make it competitive and you focus on the numbers. And that was really stirring in my heart all weekend. And I think the reason it was stirring in my heart all weekend was because none of it was Beachbody related all weekend. It was business related. It was empowerment related. It was how can you be better related, right? It wasn't about rank, or no one would even know what that was there, right? So it was just really stirring in my heart that what is it that I sell? I had two people text me, well, I had more people text me over the weekend, but two in particular challengers. One asked me this: what color container does this go in? And then another said, hey, someone's tearing me down and I need to stand up for myself and I don't know how. And then it was that moment I realized what it is that I sell. I teach women how to take a stand, and I can teach women how to have critical conversations. I'm really good at them. I love confrontation in the best way because I see the beauty in confrontation. I see how healthy it can be for us if we just would acknowledge the hard things in life and not bash people, but come to solution-oriented things versus complaining things, right? I'm a person who let's take action and make a solution versus bury ourselves in bitterness. I don't believe that bitterness and blessings exist together. So I realized that as I was sitting in the seats, I was like, man, that's what I sell. I can teach women how to have critical conversations and how to stand up for themselves. Man, that just made coaching so different for me today. So I really encourage you, what it is that you sell, because maybe what you're thinking is you sell a challenge pack and that's why you're not selling challenge packs. You know what I'm saying? You're so focused on that you're not focused on the gift that you can actually give someone. What is your gift? My gift is critical conversations. That's not necessarily Teresa and Amanda's gift, right? And we had talked about that. So that was huge for me, and a realization, that epiphany that I had for myself. So Jen Hatmaker apparently is awesome. If you've not heard of her, which I hadn't, The Mess of Moxie is her book, bestseller. Had no idea. And she spoke, and she is just funny. She was just funny. And so this is what she said. And I can't wait to share this with you. And I really encourage you to log out of Facebook and put your phone away and just take notes, because knowledge is potential power. It's not what you know, it's what you do with it. And the only way you're going to know something is if you're fully engaged with it, not distracted, right? So Jen Hatmaker is amazing. And she talks about we're constantly building and rebuilding. Constantly. As we are in our families, as we're building businesses, we're constantly in those stages. And she said, in a world of destructionists, we need builders. So just like me, people get real pissed because I just go. People get real pissed because I just go. And people want to deconstruction, maybe me, but I really think themselves. They want to blame me for this or that, and then they don't want to take action, right? So it's easier to blame someone else than it is to take full responsibility for things, right? But what if we didn't have to live in a world that was like that? That in a world that only that person can be successful. And since I think her BS is crap only because I feel like I can't do it. It's because I feel inadequate. What if we didn't have to live in a world like that? I'm going to teach you how we can live in a world that all of us can be builders and rebuilders. We need more hope, we need more creativity, and we need more empowerment. And I'm probably going to repeat this later because she definitely did say it, but she had talked about where, you guys, when you get pissed off when you see someone's post on social media because their post was better, you got to give yourself a gut check here. And this was a gut check for me when she said this. We need more of that. Her success isn't bullshit. Meaning the person who put positivity out there, what if you were to look and be like, yes, she's going to reach someone today and celebrate her. And then I'm going to reach someone today and I'm going to celebrate me and give myself more credit. Give myself more credit for the things that I do. Because I want to put hope out there. And I love that Teresa wants to put out hope there. And I want to put out more love. And I love that Amanda wants to put out more love. And I'm going to put out more challenge groups to help people get fit. And I love that Teresa and Amanda can do challenge groups to get people to get more fit. That's awesome. What if we went in it like that? Or today during the National Wake Up Call, I used to hate the rank advancements. I'm going to be honest with you. I hated it. It made me feel less than. And again, no one is better than you and you are better than no one, right? So today when the rank advancements were going off, I was just like, yes, girl, yes. That's awesome. Way to go. Every time I heard a rank advancement, every time I heard top Success Club producer, I just kept going, that's awesome. That's awesome. And over, because there were a lot of announcements today, and over, instead of skipping through it and minimizing someone else making a difference. Because the old me was like, well, shoot, they don't care about those people. I don't know that. I don't know those people. How dare I say something like that, right? So perspective is everything. As soon as you get the courage to stand, someone's going to tell you to sit right down. As soon as you get the courage to make that post, someone's going to mock you. As soon as you decide to go live, someone's going to propose to you and on Facebook through the comments. It's so annoying. As soon as you stand for something, there's going to be someone to tell you to shut up. As soon as you have the courage to do something crazy, you're going to reach out to someone to join you. They're going to tell you no, right? Always, but we should still stand, okay? This was huge. We need a different voice to tell us what we aren't, not just what we are. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're encouraging. But I also need to tell someone what they aren't. Right? Julianne, you're not selfish. Julianne, you're not selfish. Julianne, your success isn't bullshit. When I start to think certain things about myself, right? We need people to tell us who we are, but also who we aren't. You're no longer that victim anymore. You're no longer that person who you were. You're no longer that couch dweller. Because in our minds, we're going to start to go there because we tell us who we aren't. Ourselves. We tell us who we're not. We're not capable. We can't. I even hate saying those as it comes out of my mouth because I don't want to start believing that, right? We need this tribe to remind us of who we are and who we're not. Because of the crap we've gone through in life, that's the stuff we start blaming for who we are. And Tony Robbins says this, if you blame your past for the bad, you better blame your present and be grateful for your present because of the bad. Does that make sense? Because of my bad, I wouldn't be the person I am today. But yet it's really easy to be in that victim mentality to think this has gone wrong, this has gone wrong, this has gone wrong. But I'm blaming my past. My past for what it was made me the person that I am today. Because my mom was a single mom and fought for our family, it made me independent. It made me see my worth. It made me see her strength. It made me all of these things because that happened. Instead of, oh, I grew up in a single household, poor me. No. I am the person I am today because of that. You are far more than your worst day. You are far more than your worst day. It's time to live a new story before others bless it. It's time right now to live the life you need to live, regardless if anyone blesses it or not. It's time. You don't need to wait for their blessings to live your best life. I loved this. Something doesn't have to be bad in order for it to be over. Something doesn't have to be bad in order for it to be over. Example would be this. We left Milwaukee loving it. Most people move across the country because they hate where they're at. We loved it. We loved our friends. We loved where we lived. We loved it. We loved our life there. But it was time for it to be over and for us to move across the country. That was big. That was a gracious moment for me to think about. Just because something is good, it might be time for it to be done because it's not growing you anymore, if that makes sense. And you can move something and forward to something new. So the first bullet point on all of that was we need a voice to tell us what we aren't, not just what we are. And then bullet point number 2 is you are not unworthy of building or creating. You are not unworthy of building or creating. We want our lives to be meaningful and sacred. Treat whatever you want to do like a calling. Treat it like blank. That wherever you want to be creative and feel worthy in, treat it like it is just your life's mission. And I was thinking about that today. A lot of you use part-time hustler. I was talking to Teresa. By the way, I'm super blunt, and that's probably why I made that other coach mad, but that's on her, right? I just am going to say it and say what's on my heart always. I'm not going to hold back for anybody. I'm just going to be me. And I said this to Teresa today. I said, a lot of people identify with part-time hustle and still have a part-time mentality, and you shouldn't. If you are a part-time hustler like I was when I started this business, I had $1 million mindset. I didn't have a part-time mindset. Just because you only have an hour a day, which is how I started my business, I looked at my business like I was making $1 million and making the biggest impact. So that's a gut check. If you identify with part-time hustler, are you a part-time mindset, right? That might change the game for your business. And whatever it is, produce it and create it. Bullet point number 3. Oh, this is my favorite one. You are not in competition with other women. Yes, you guys. How freeing is this? Rachel Hollis and Jen Hatmaker are in the same industry, are very much similar. They're humorous and they share their life through writing, and they both host conferences. They do very similar things, and they're both mega successful. Both of them. They do the same thing. In fact, Girl Wash Your Face, the idea was from Jen Hatmaker when she was talking to Rachel. And that's who she dedicates Girl Wash Your Face to, is Jen. Because they were sitting down and Jen said, Rachel, what are you going to do for your next book for the women, for your tribe? What are you going to do? And she's like, well, I think I'm going to write about, romance. And she's like, no, Rachel, what are you going to do to empower your tribe? I'm getting goosebumps saying that. Someone who's in the same industry doing the exact same thing encouraged Rachel to do better. If you are connecting with people out of inadequacy and you are connecting with people out of jealousy, it is time to reevaluate what you're saying, who you're hanging out with, and what you're doing. And that is why you are not growing the way you want to grow in this business. I know for a fact women on this call have been doing that. Why? I've done that. I've done that in the past. Her success isn't bullshit, you guys. Lift her up, encourage her, bring her into your circle, love on her. Be grateful that she's making an impact. Be grateful that she took the courage to make a stand. Be grateful that she's fighting for her family instead of envious of it. Because if she can do it, you can do it. And you are using blame, envy, and jealousy as a reason not to be successful, and you don't realize it. We are not in competition together, and it's really hard in Beachbody world. It is really hard because you're constantly looking at what everyone is doing. It's hard, but you also have to look at it from another light. Just as much as when I look at my miscarriage, I can play victim of it or see the triumph through that story and through that moment in my life. I saw the blessing of what a miscarriage brought in my life. I don't think a lot of women can say that with such confidence. I am thankful for my miscarriage because of what it's taught me, what it showed me, and who it brought into my life. I am grateful. So when that happens, if you're connecting out of inadequacy, that is a weed and it is going to destroy you. Someone else's success has nothing to do with your potential and who you are. I just made that up. It isn't. Just because they're successful doesn't mean that you can't be. And just because they're successful doesn't mean you will be, right? It's all up to you, but you're not in competition with anyone outside of your own lane. Use that as inspiration, but if you start to use that as jealousy and envy, you're going to go nowhere and you're going to get a lot of flat tires and you're going to be wondering why you're not moving. On Zooms, in conversations on Facebook, in meetups, are you being the toxic person or the encouraging one? Are you being the mover of empowerment or are you going to be the destructive criticism, whatever? You are who you surround yourself with. And I surround myself with freaking empowerment and encouragement and people who honestly want success for myself. Do we get jealous sometimes? Yes. Yep. But I can tell that to someone who I love. I don't know why. I just had that weird thing in my heart. And I just need to tell you, and I love you, and I just need to speak it out so it loses the power over me, right? It's time. It is time we make a stand, y'all. There's no scarcity in creativity. There is no scarcity in creativity. We can't have too much wisdom, too much literature, we can't have too much stories, too much encouragement, too much people being fit, being healthy. When you start to think about it, it sounds really silly that you would even ever think that. We can't have too many Facebook posts, meaning with everybody else, all of us, right? There's so much. Rachel and Jen are in the exact same industry, exact same publishers. They write the exact same things, and they are both mega successful, cheering each other on because they know there's more than enough. There's room for you too. Man, that was my takeaway, and I know that went a really long time. And so I'm going to stop and give it to Teresa, and I can't wait to hear what they're about to bring.
Hey, Amanda had to jump off, so we can kind of wrap it up with what she was going to. Anyway, okay. So this conference was so cool. Like Julianne said, it was just kind of nice to not know anybody and not have this feeling of walking into a room and sometimes you just feel like, oh, I know she's super successful, and you look at her shoes and look at her clothes, and then you start feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not dressed up enough. It's just, I think, a natural thing for women to do. Not because we're super insecure, but sometimes it's hard. Women are intimidating. So this conference was really cool just to kind of shift that mindset a little bit and to know that we all have the same insecurities and doubts, and that we need to just wrap our arms around each other and embrace that and just be better friends, be better wives, be better coaches, be better mentors, everything. So I have all of these stars by my notes. So I'm like, what should I tell you guys? So I think what I'm going to go over is Rachel gave a talk about the 5 reasons that people give up on their dreams. And I thought I would just go over those with you. You can write them down. And I also made a graphic for after this Zoom with all of the resources that they kind of mentioned, the book that Julianne held up, a couple other books, which was cool to see that she recommended a lot of the books that we've already been exposed to being in this circle, which made us feel really proud to be a part of something like this, because we're like, oh, we've read that, cool, you know? So the first thing she said was 5 reasons people give up on their dreams. Number 1, a voice of authority tells you to. People can say whatever they want to, but you get to decide if you're going to listen. I can think of this with coaching. I can think of this with starting your health journey. I can think of this at a job. Maybe you want to apply for a promotion, but somebody or something in your head is telling you not to, but you get to decide if you're going to listen. You get to decide if you're still going to show up and post on social media, even though somebody said something to you. You get to decide if you're still going to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out because it's important to you, even if your spouse doesn't really understand. So a voice of authority tells you to. Number 2 is somebody beats you to it. There's room for all of us. No matter what you want to do, no matter how crazy, big or small your dream is, there is room for all of us. I guarantee if you think of an idea that you have or a dream that you have, maybe inside or outside of coaching, you can Google it and somebody probably has already done something like it or something similar, but you can still do it. You can do it in a different way. You're not a part of that dream. You're a part of your own dream. Your dream doesn't have to be her dream. It can be yours. She said that, do you know how rare it is for somebody more successful than you to pull you into their corner? That also made me feel really proud to be in this community, because people more successful than us pull us into their corner all the time. Whether or not we listen and we enter that circle or keep ourselves from it, that's our decision to make, but it happens every single day on this team. And so that was really cool too. Somebody beats you to it is just a really good reason for you to give yourself the excuse to give up. There's already Star Diamond coaches. There's already elite coaches. There's already somebody who works in HR that I think smarter than me, and so I'm not going to even apply for that. It's just an excuse to give up. Number 3 is it's hard. It's hard, you guys. Anything worth achieving in life is going to be hard. Anything. Your dreams don't go away just because it gets hard. You don't know what's standing on the other side of your hard. Think about that. Like, we were hiking up the Hollywood Hill, and there was guys that were coming up as we were going down, and we had already gone down about half the way. And they're like, how much further to the top? We had just come down from the top, and it was so beautiful, and it was so fun, and we met people up there, and we took really cool pictures, and we were so happy that we did it. And they're like, how far till the top? And we're like, oh my gosh, like, you're not real close, to be honest. However, it's worth it. As we got to the very bottom of the hill, we looked up, we saw all 4 of them standing at the top. So what if they would have turned around because it was a little further than they thought? They wouldn't have got to experience that view. Number 4, it's taking too long. Nothing that lasts happens quickly. I see this all the time. People leaving our company for another company. People leaving a corporate job for another corporate job because they think the grass is greener or they'll get promoted quicker. Nothing that lasts happens quickly. In our society, we want everything to happen fast. We want it at our fingertips. We want our internet to be fast. We want this, we want that. We're just used to it. That's just how the world is now. But if you want something to last, it's going to be freaking hard, and it's going to take a while, and that is okay. Number 5, short-term failure becomes your long-term decision. Somebody tells you no, so you stop inviting. You don't get a lot of traction on your posts, so you stop posting. You get turned down for that job promotion that you really, really wanted, so you stop applying for other jobs. You don't lose as much weight as you had your heart set on, so you just stop working out. That's just a good reason to give up. You have to suck before you get good. Real women are not perfect, and perfect women are not real. Real women are not perfect, and perfect women are not real. We need to start acknowledging the stuff we have done, you guys. Are you proud of being a good mom today? Are you proud of what you accomplished today? Are you proud that you're on this Zoom right now and it was a choice you had to make? Are you proud of the people that you have helped instead of focusing on the ones that have told you no? Are you proud of the people who have joined your team versus focusing on the people that haven't? Acknowledge the stuff you have done. Don't let somebody in the cheap seats get an expensive seat in your life with their opinions. Don't let someone in the cheap seats get an expensive seat in your life with their opinion. God, how true is that? I am a dweller. I can like bless and release and move on, but you bet your butt I still think about it because I have feelings too. People can say stuff. They can say stuff behind your back that you hear anyway. And it's easy to let those people that you don't even really necessarily want in your circle in the first place to get a really expensive seat in your head with their opinion. You have to be okay with not being friends with everybody and start really loving on and leaning into the friends that are supporting you and do want the best for you. And if you're the smartest person in your circle or the most successful person in your circle, it might be time to move circles. And that's okay. Doesn't mean you have to stop talking to them or whatever, but the people you spend the most time with are going to be a reflection of you. And we had talked about this quite a bit this weekend, and it's like, I love surrounding myself with people that are further ahead in this business than me. I love listening to people talk or learning from people in different businesses and growing from them and not being closed-minded and not just talking about the same things over and over and over again. It feels good to be challenged. And it feels good to learn new things. They just kept saying this over and over again, that you are made for more. You're made for more. You're more than a challenge pack sale. You're more than Success Club points. But are you talking like you're more than that? Or is that all you're standing for, you guys? You can change a life with those things. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to hit Success Club this month. Yes, I'm going to sell challenge packs this month, but that is not all I'm providing for people anymore. Like, that's not all I have been providing, but I'm sure as heck not just providing that after this conference. People who join us and join our community deserve to see what is available to them in this world. Nobody that I, like, really honestly, not a lot of people that I know, not a lot of women have a community like this. That's all women want, is to feel accepted, to feel empowered, to feel important, to be heard, to know that they're not alone. And we can provide that for people. And I think that's so cool. Don't be small because people can't handle your big. Seriously. Be loud, be proud, talk like you're helping 1 million people before you help one. Because you are going to help 1 million people. And you need to believe that. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. So we always say, like, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Fill yourself up. Do your self-care first. I want you to imagine this in a little bit of a different way. So she said, picture yourself as a huge empty glass vase. Someone is pouring in self-love, confidence, appreciation, all the things that we try to give ourselves, but also the things that people are telling us that we're surrounding ourselves with, right? So, you know, maybe your spouse is super supportive, like that pours into your glass. Maybe your friends are just awesome and cheering you on, and maybe a challenger lost 5 pounds, maybe whatever. All those things are pouring into your glass vase. But then when we give, we slowly tip over, okay? So that glass starts to tip. And if you're giving more than you're receiving, the glass is going to shatter. What if we stood stronger with a little bit more confidence and a little bit more belief in ourselves? We would overflow instead of tip over. So stand with, Julianne said this, not somebody at the conference. When you stand up and when you do something and you're a little bit nervous, stick your chest out 2 more inches and be freaking proud. Be proud. Don't let people who aren't in your ring fighting this fight with you judge you. Who gives a what they think? Seriously, not me. Okay. I am not a cheerleader. I'm a coach. A cheerleader cheers for you no matter what you're doing. A coach tells you that they see more in you. That maybe what you've always been doing isn't working and you need to try something else. So don't be afraid to not be the cheerleader all the time, but to be a coach too. Are you more influential to your friends, to your circle, to your coworkers, or are they more influential to you? That's huge. There's a lot of like being aware of who you're surrounding yourself with and being okay making some difficult decisions if that's something you need to do. It was interesting. Let's see here. Oh, what you consumes you. Like Julianne said, like, are your conversations negative or are they positive? Whatever you're consuming is going to consume you. Be okay with like overindulging in personal development, self-development. Be okay with investing in yourself. Be okay with doing that workout because it's consuming you with positive things. When do you feel great and when do you feel like crap? Stop doing the thing that makes you feel like crap. Your habits matter because your habits control your life. She said this, and I thought this was really applicable to coaching. I believe deeply if you can do something for 30 days, you can do it forever. Sometimes when people think about changing their life, they think of immediately cutting things out. So I thought of this in terms of like challenge groups. If someone can do something for 30 days, they can do it forever. What if we were the best coach we could possibly be and we give everything we could give to somebody for that first 30 days? Like Trina says, sometimes for new coaches, you spoon feed them. You give them the map to success. What if we changed the way we did things and we were really, 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 really close with that person for 30 days, like helping them do all the things? What would they be able to do the rest of their life because of that? She said that sometimes instead of cutting things out for 30 days, she just added things in. How about you add in a workout for 20 minutes today? How about you start drinking half of your body weight in ounces? Instead of focusing on cutting the soda right away, cutting, fast food, cutting this, cutting that, because then that feels restrictive and negative versus empowering and positive. Those things will get cut out with time, but if we shifted our focus into what they can add into their life, it doesn't seem as defeating. Write down the habits that you have that you don't even realize you do. This was kind of eye-opening for me. I'm like, oh, geez, yeah. Do you have a morning routine? Your morning matters. Try waking up 1 hour before you need to and see what a difference it makes. What could you get done in 1 hour in the morning to start your day off better than being frantic, pressing snooze, feeling lethargic when you go to work? What if you got up 1 hour earlier? What would that look like? You have the time. You need to learn to manage it better. Life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. You don't get pissed off, you do pissed off. You choose pissed off. Choose something else. You can easily choose joy, love, compassion, or happiness just as easy as you can choose pissed off. They did a lot of dancing there. It was kind of fun just to kind of like reset the mood. If we just went into something super deep, she would count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like Mel Robbins. A lot of us read the 5-second rule. If you haven't, it's really good, especially if you find yourself dragging your feet doing really important tasks in your life. It's called the 5-second rule. I'll share a graphic with all the stuff she suggested. But anyway, she would put on music and we'd all stand up and dance. But it was funny. At one point she said, everybody's a lady until you step into the club. And then she played to the window, to the walls. So that was kind of funny. It wasn't all like super deep. It was a lot of dancing, a lot of laughing, a lot of crying, a lot of, it was a lot of inspiration. It was so cool. Okay, so let's see. Maybe this wasn't what you signed up for, but maybe it's what you're made for. 5 years ago, if you told me I was going to be a full-time Beachbody coach, I would have been like, you're funny. That's cute. Like, this isn't what I signed up for, but I truly believe it's what I'm made for. I'm made for more. I'm made for more than clocking in and punching out and hating my job. So are you. If you love your job, good for you. That's awesome. A lot of people don't. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. If you bring salt, though, they'll get thirsty enough and eventually they'll drink. So when I think of that, I think of sometimes the brutally honest posts that I do. I did one today about breaking up with busy. I got the most traction on that post that, I mean, it's kind of crazy. You get more traction on posts and connect with more people when you're completely real and honest. Julianne actually got mad at me when we were there because I'm like, we had to do an exercise that I don't want to share because I want to, I think, talk to Trina about doing this at Summit at Team Rexer Fit Day because it was just unbelievably cool. But anyway, we were talking about some of the things that we had checked off, and one of them was, I don't like the way that I look. And she was like, what? And I'm like, I'm 20 pounds heavier right now than I've ever been in my life, minus when I was growing another human inside of me. Because I'm like dealing with some thyroid issues right now and hormone issues, and it's just been a load of fun, let me tell you. But anyway, she's like, have you shared that? I'm like, hell no, I haven't shared that. I'm a coach. I'm a health and wellness coach, and I'm the heaviest I've ever been in my life, and I'm working my butt off. Do you know how frustrating and quite frankly embarrassing that is for me? Like, my heart's pounding even thinking about it because I'm totally embarrassed by it, but I can't help it. And I never have talked about it. And so I sat down that night because Julianne's like, you are so annoying. We tell people to be vulnerable and you're not telling like the biggest part of your story and your struggle right now. So I did. I've connected with over 30 women in my DMs about Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune disease where you have hyper and hypothyroid. So many people, you guys. And to me, that wasn't about the amount of likes I got on my posts. Not about that. It's about the connections you make because of the things you put out on social media. So if you're thinking about what should I post about, you've got to think about the struggle that you're going through too. Not that you need to air out all your dirty laundry. And I think, quite honestly, I try to really protect my privacy. And I think that that was why it was difficult for me, because I don't know. So anyway, it was kind of eye-opening, and I'm like, okay, well, thanks for getting mad at me for saying that. But it really broke down our walls this weekend to talk about some really, really difficult things. We chose not to attend the 90s party because I hate dancing, and the thought of like getting dressed up in 90s stuff just does not sound fun. I don't know, call me a Pam, but I was just like, I'm not really feeling this whole like 90s party, are you? And they're like, we're good with sitting in. You know how like Summit is really tiring, and at the end of the weekend you're just so tired. So we decided to order Chinese food and have some wine back at the Airbnb. And God, you guys, we had some really good conversations. Like, ugly cries happened. And I don't cry. If you know me, I do not cry. And friendships were built, and like deeper friendships. We just kept saying, I'm like, I wouldn't tell some of my closest friends the stuff that we've talked about this weekend, and Julianne and Amanda as well. And it was just like, Amanda's husband has made the comment, like, these aren't real friends. They're over the computer screen. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. And I was like, if somebody can tell you that these friendships aren't real, they're wrong. And you might not have a big group of girlfriends or a good group of girlfriends or a good circle, but you've got a good circle right here, you guys. We are all here for each other. We're here to build each other up, not tear each other down. And it's our job as people on this team to share that with other people because they need it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of husbands, they don't get it. And that's okay. They don't have to. But you also have to have a belief in this that's going to outlast the opinions of other people. Because this is real. What we do is real. We've changed a lot of lives between everybody on this call. A lot of lives. So I guess my takeaway is invest in yourself and do things that just feel right. If you feel pulled to, go to this conference, like I wanted to go to Super Saturday so bad. Trina was speaking, my team was going. I felt like I had let them down by trying to do this over that. But I had something in my heart telling me I need to go to do something to push me a little bit further outside of my comfort zone because I was getting pretty comfortable. Not saying Super Saturday wouldn't have done that for me, but I really loved Rachel's book, and I'm not really a reader, you guys. I don't know, I just don't take the time. And this is the first book I read start to finish in a long time, and I did it quickly, and I really connected with her, and I'm like, I feel like I could learn something from this. And so I went on a whim, and I asked Amanda and Julianne, because I know they're like fly by the seat of their pants type of people, and we booked it, and it was really cool, and I would highly encourage you to go. It's in Minnesota next year, so I know we're going to try to get a big group of people to go. And it was cool. Like, I love Beachbody. I like Blee Beachbody Blue, you guys. It was really cool to go to an event that wasn't associated with Beachbody because it challenged you a little bit in a different way, and it felt really good. So, Julianne, you want to end it?
So she's being really gracious. First of all, I think what is so powerful is someone the same how they are for everybody else on social media than when you are with just them in the room. Does that make sense? Like, people ask all the time, Eric, is Julianne really like that at home? And he's like, yes. Like, are you your best self when no one is around? Are you your best, are you the best parent when no one is around? Are you that best coach when no one's around? And Teresa's being so real when I called her out on it. That's how I am. Like, that's how I am at home with Grace, whatever. But she was so nice about that because I walked away from them. Like I said, I'm done talking to you, and walked across the street, down, and just punched over and was like, you are doing your followers a disservice. They need you and your story. And what's really cool about Teresa is She is the most coachable coach. And yet, what you would see in Beachbody, one of the most successful, right? No one is better than you and you are better than no one, but I know her personally as one of my good friends. And when I'm alone with her, to what I see with her on social media, and she is the same. And what she just did is tweaked something and it blew up her DMs. Like, she needs people in her life to push her, right? And she was pushing me in some crazy. So I was really dramatic, and she made me seem way less dramatic. But before we end, I think actually one of my favorite things about this was there's a therapist, and she has a podcast called the Trailer Podcast, and she is just this cute woman. She like spoke on stage barefoot, all this stuff, but she wasn't our therapist on the stage. But you should really check out her podcast. She says, we all walk through life, talk about the hard things. You have to talk about it. You can hide or cling to trauma. And you can, but it's going to disservice you when you do that, when you cling to these hard things in your life. And what she did, so brilliant. She said, we're all climbing this mountain, and what you're standing on is everything that's built you. Your mountain is all the crap, all the haters, all of the hard times, all of the challenges that you are standing on victoriously. You can either bury yourself in it, or you can stand on it and put your hands up in the air and be like, I did that. And it was crazy because we were actually climbing up a mountain as we were talking about that. And we got up there. And if you follow me on Instagram, I always play my jam, and we played it up there. And I can't tell you, when we were playing Unstoppables, my song by Sia, and we got up there and people joined us, but it was just kind of one of those symbolic things of when, and you know, my brother said this to me when we hit Elite for the very first year. He said, Julianne, I love that you're going on this mountain and you're climbing it with all these amazing people, but please don't forget to take a look at the view. And that always stuck with me because I am just let's go. And I put my head down and I get to work. But sometimes my fault is I often forget to list off the things that I've accomplished, or the things that have made me. And I focus so much on like, I gotta go. And some other people, their focus is different. Like, it's hard, I'm out of breath. Like, this is too hard. Like, I don't focus on that. I just like get to work. But you can either bury yourself in it or you can stand on it. And that was so powerful. So what are you standing on? That's your story. Like, what has built your mountain? And you don't have to have a traumatic growing up in order to have a mountain. And I think people in your life, you've experienced small minds. I think you've experienced heartache. You guys, we were like on a high. We're like, how do we keep this lasting? Walk through the doors of Starbucks. We had a gift card. We were going to use the gift card. We were like ready. And then the guy's like, the manager, what conference is this? We're like, oh, it's Rise, where all women are being empowered. And he's writing, Rise conference. Man, have you seen the size of this place? It's so small. And I was like, oh, it's so cool that you have so many customers coming in. And Teresa's like, we don't mind. And then, you know, Amanda's like, we just love your coffee. Like, you know, and he's just like, and we're just like, huh. What you focus on creates your reality. We weren't focusing on the lines. We weren't focusing on the slow service. We weren't focusing on the delays. We weren't focusing on whatever he was seeing, we were not seeing. And we went in there and he was freaked out by our smiles. He was frustrated by our compliments. And we just think, what a bitter life. I just stood for people who've been raped. I just stood for people who've been abused. I just stood for people who've had so much trauma, who've had miscarriages, who've lost children, who's lost a spouse. We did this activity, and I'll explain it at another time. But I stood for people that have been through some really hard things, and a long line and delayed coffee is not bad. Just as much as when you get an irritating message, y'all, you got to feel your heartbeat, and you just have to realize that's not, like, what is it? It's like there is no such thing in anyone's life as an unimportant day. And when you are focused on the long lines, the delayed, the frustrations, that's where your energy is going to flow. And no, go ahead.
I just flipped to this page and I forgot. She said, work for what you want with less of a wishbone and more of a backbone.
Yeah.
And then she said, yeah, she said, find sponsors, friends who push you to your stretch goals, but will also break your fall.
Yep. And I have to say, we are part of the greatest team in all of Beachbody, where Trina Gray and some other people that I look up to every single day in this business had never made me feel like I couldn't do it. And they didn't wait around for me to do it. They got it done and they showed me how. And the power in my success was me making a choice to not focus on the no's, to not focus on the things that all of everyone else would focus on that wouldn't move their businesses forward. I found a problem, didn't want to find it, it came to me, right? And then I figured out a solution. I changed my approach. I thought of other ways. I'm going to end it with this, and this is so wild because I didn't know. Rachel Hollis wrote a book, and it was gold. And it was her story. It's called Party Girl, Before Girl Wash Your Face. And it was her story. And this is right when 50 Shades of Grey, none of you have watched that, right, or read that. 50 Shades of Grey came out, and it was all about sex. And she wrote her story, and it didn't have sex in it. And that was the time when that happened. And there was publishers who picked it up, who wanted to pick it up too. And she was like, this is it. I'm going to be made after this. I'm getting goosebumps like as I'm sharing this because this is our journey as Beachbody coaches. And they're like, this is so good. Like, best book ever. You got to add sex. And she's like, no. And they're like, this will never sell. That's what they told her. So the one last publisher, she's like, yes, this is it. They told me that this, like, you need to add sex. And she's like, no, it's not my story. They're like, this book will never sell. She went to the bathroom, cried her eyes out, felt sorry for herself for like 90 seconds, left the bathroom, went to Google and said how to self-publish a book. Self-publish that book and go look and see how much it's grossed. Go look and see how many people have bought that book, because it started with 50 people. Then the next month it went to 100 people, and then it went to 200, and then it went and it sold like crazy. She changed her approach, and the opinions of other people who were qualified were none of her business, because she made it her business to be successful. I'm going to end you on that. Wherever you're stuck, you're not stuck. You're just thinking you're stuck, and you're focused on the stuck. Don't focus on the stuck. Figure out another way. If Instagram's not working for you, Google. Figure it out. You can do this. Change your approach. Are you sharing your story? What are you standing on? You all are amazing. Thank you so much for hopping on. We are so thankful and grateful that you would take this. Knowledge is potential power. It's only powerful when you apply it, right? So take action. No one is better than you, and you are better than no one. Go share your story, and that's the difference. All right, y'all. Talk to you later.